Stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Sylvia, roll call.
Mayor Rosner is absent tonight. Council President Mays.
Aye.
Councilor Brous.
Aye.
Councilor Young.
Aye.
Councilor Scott.
Aye.
Councilor Giles.
Here.
Councilor Stankey.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. We have approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Any discussion? No. All in favor of the motion to approve agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Consent agenda, we have one item on the consent tonight. Resolution 2023-017, revising the city financial policy for fund balance.
I move consent. Second.
Discussion on the motion. All in favor of approving the consent, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Citizen comments. Now's the time to address council on any issue. It is you have 4 minutes to talk to the council. It is not a conversation. It's just anyways. We have one person signed up so far. Jane. Welcome, Jane. Please. Oh, it's already green. So you have a hot mic when you sit down.
Okay, thank you.
And welcome.
May I begin?
Absolutely.
My subject tonight is rent price hikes at Cannery Row Apartments. I'm speaking to you about the apartments where I have lived since April 2018. It is the place I call home. We have new owners and new property managers, but things are not going smoothly for me or for many others. It appears that S.R. Watt Company of California purchased our two buildings. I contacted State of Oregon Representative Courtney Neron in 2019 when there was a rent increase under different owners and property managers. Her constituent desk was a fabulous resource by providing the name of an attorney who took the case because of my age. In 2023, I decided to contact Neron's office again and ask for help. In the meantime, I was grateful to read the March issue of the Sherwood Gazette about what the city has been doing to advocate for me. I have permission to make a citizen comment tonight. I am circulating a petition to have a town hall with residents, owners of Cannery Row, Cushman, Wakefield property managers, and the mayor of Sherwood, Tim Rosner. If we work together, something good may come from this. Mayor Rosner told me that under state law, unfortunately, there is no direct action the city can take other than advocating, which he has already been doing. Thank you, Mayor Rosner. Representative Neron said landlords and private corporations that raise rents excessively are not invested in the stability of our communities. They might unhouse families in our community. She is the chief sponsor of Bill 611, which will require newer buildings to align with a 2019 law. I agree that something must be done. I believe more people are being driven out of their units and into possible homelessness. Mayor Rosner stated when larger corporations backed extensively by equity money buy buildings like mine, they may be so out of touch with Sherwood that they don't even realize the harm they are doing. I moved to Sherwood in 2013 and celebrated 10 years of residency. In addition, I am a member of the Rotary International Club of Sherwood, where we promote peace, fight disease, provide clean water, save mothers and children, support education, grow local economies, and support the environment. Let's look at this rent increase issue using the Rotary four-way test and what I've been sharing with you in this citizen comment. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? These are easy questions to answer. What is going on at Cannery Row is not right. The answers are simple. No, 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 no. Please respond to my request for help favorably and help us use this unique circumstance to build peace in Old Town Sherwood, Oregon. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you, Jane. Very well said.
Welcome.
Anyone else wish to address City Council in public hearing? I will just do a shout out. There is a troop in the back. Welcome. Great to see you. What troop are you with? Outstanding. Well, wonderful. And here just to observe, but also to work on a badge? Awesome. Awesome. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Next on our, again, one more opportunity. Anybody online wish to? Nope. Awesome. Okay, so we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is public hearings. We have two items listed. One is the third hearing. It's not a public hearing for ordinance 2023-001. Sylvia, you want to read what we need to read for that and the second one?
The Sherwood City Council will hold hearings this evening for ordinance 2023-001, approving a planned unit development PUD and subdivision to be known as the Mosier Pass PUD. As Council President May stated, this is the third reading on this ordinance, and staff will present a staff report, council discussion, and then deliberation by the council for this ordinance. For ordinance 2023-002, amending divisions 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8 of the Sherwood Zoning and Community Development Code, and repealing ordinance 2022-006, establishing time, place, and manner restrictions on psilocybin service centers and the manufacturing of psilocybin products. This is the second hearing before the council on this item. The public hearing this evening for ordinance 002 will be as follows. Staff will present a staff report, questions, if any, by the City Council for staff. We will then receive written testimony. We will then open the public hearing for testimony, and the time will be limited to 4 minutes per person. Any interested person may present testimony. The hearing will then be closed. No other comments will be heard from the public. Final comments by staff, questions of staff, if any, by the council, followed by council discussion. This is the second hearing before the City Council on this item. A decision may be made by the council at the close of this hearing, or the matter may be continued to a time and date certain. If the matter is continued to a date certain, this is the only notice of that date you will receive. If you wish to speak, please fill out a request to speak form and submit it to the city recorder prior to the time the public hearing is open for testimony. The council president will recognize people who wish to speak, and any comments must be addressed through the council president. When you come forward, please state your name and place of residence for the record, as this hearing will be recorded.
Thank you, Sylvia. Ordinance 2023-001. Eric?
Yeah, good evening. Thank you, Council President Mays and City Council, Eric Rutledge, Community Development Director. Just going to jump right in and say this is the third staff presentation, and at the last hearing, City Council directed staff to make the following changes to the previously revised condition for final adoption. And so those changes are lots 30 and 32 would be converted to tract F for a new park space, 0.75 acres. Parking would be permitted on the south side of Upper Roy Street, immediately adjacent to the park. I checked in with our engineering department. That is the side of the street that will have parking, so that works out well. A new sports court or facility shall be provided in the park by the developer based on an identified need in the 2021 Parks Master Plan. That sports court would be approved by the Planning Commission. Also, that a new restroom would be provided in the park to match the existing restroom at Cannery Square, or a similar design to be approved by the Planning Commission. The developer would be responsible for installation of the underground utilities and the concrete pad in the final location. City would be responsible for purchasing, installing, and long-term maintenance of the restroom. We'd also be responsible for setting the hours of operation, cleaning, maintenance, etc. And then we would remove the requirement for a second pedestrian pathway between Upper Roy Street and Track C. So very conceptual diagram here of what it would look like. So again, these 3 lots be converted to open space for a park. The condition is written that would need to match this shape and area precisely. So your guarantee of what you're getting. The second pedestrian pathway that was in this location was removed. Gazebo would be removed. So big picture, have your linear trail in this area with the reforestation, and then your sort of gathering space as a public park would be in that location. That was the extent of the changes. So all of those changes have been updated in the staff report and through the ordinance. So staff recommends approving the application and adopting ordinance 2023-001 based on the findings included as Exhibit 1 to the ordinance 2023-001. And there's an example motion there. You can leave up if you guys would like, and that concludes staff presentation.
Awesome, Eric. If you'd back up the screen 1 page, that'd be great. Questions for Eric? Yes, Dan.
On your map, you showed the wood chip trail. We talked about changing that to the paved path.
It will be paved, concrete or asphalt, including the guardrails. So these changes here are in addition to the changes that I already mentioned. That's kind of hard to track, but we had sort of made some changes, and then you guys had furthered those, and that's what was here. But yes, the condition is written for that trail to be asphalt or concrete.
Yeah, thank you.
Great question. Other questions?
And just to be real specific, to match the other trail that's already going in, right? I mean,
That it's connecting to?
that it's connecting to, right?
Similar.
The condition is written to be hard surface.
Yeah.
The trail to the south right now is asphalt, and I would assume that that's what it's going to be based on cost. Asphalt's going to be a little bit cheaper than concrete,
Okay.
so it would likely match.
Yeah, it's essentially, I just wanted to make sure that.
Going from hard surface to hard surface.
Yeah, hard surface to hard surface. And by the way, if it makes sense to do concrete or asphalt or, I'll leave that up to the experts on that, but it's different. Okay, great.
Other questions?
Ready?
Or motion?
I'm.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go
I move
ahead.
that the City Council approve ordinance 2023-001, subject to the findings and conditions included as Exhibit 1 to ordinance 2023-001 in the council packet dated March 7th, 2023.
I'll second the motion.
Moved and seconded. Discussion on the motion. Hearing no discussion. Sylvia?
Ordinance 2023-001, approving a planned unit development, PUD, and subdivision to be known as the Mosier Pass PUD. Counselor Stankey, how do you vote?
In the affirmative?
Counselor Giles?
Aye.
Counselor Scott?
Aye.
Counselor Young?
Aye.
Counselor Browse?
Aye.
Council President Mays?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Eric and council. Second public hearing is ordinance 2023-002. Erica, welcome.
Good evening, Council President and Council members. Erica Palmer, Planning Manager. So before you this evening, this ordinance is a slate of recommended development code amendments from the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission has been working on these amendments since last fall. There are 4 substantive changes to the development code here. First, we have some criteria for model homes within the temporary use chapter. We have a reduction of the adjustment in Class B variances. This recommendation actually came out of the work that we did out of our residential design standards work last year, and unfortunately it just wasn't carried over to the council at that time, so we're bringing it back. We have a new proposed industrial design criteria in Chapter 1690. And then we have provided some standards for the allowance of psilocybin facilities within the general industrial zone to implement ballot measure 109. We haven't received any additional public testimony since the last time we were here, February 21st. So with that, I can answer any questions that you may have about this proposal.
Awesome. Thank you, Erica. First, anyone here want to give testimony? I suspect. Anyone here want to give testimony in support of the proposed ordinance? Anyone? Brad online? Anybody opposed want to give testimony in opposition? And online, no one opposition. So we'll close the public hearing portion of this ordinance. Questions for Erica on the proposed ordinance? This is our second looking at it after the Planning Commission chewed on it for a good amount of time too, which we were very appreciative of.
I assume we made that one correction from last.
We did.
That one typo.
Awesome. Anything else? Hearing none, is there a motion?
I will read caption, adopt ordinance 2023-002, amending divisions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the Sherwood zoning and.
Almost.
What?
The different numbers. 1,
All those numbers, 1,
2, 3, 4,
7, and 8.
7, and 8. Of the why has it got to be in Roman numerals? Okay, I want to read, caption, and adopt ordinance 2023-002, amending divisions 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8 of the Sherwood Zoning and Community Development Code and repealing ordinance 2022-006, establishing time, place, and manner restrictions on psilocybin service centers and the manufacturing of psilocybin products.
Awesome.
I'll second.
Awesome. Moved and seconded. Sylvia.
What? Discussion? No discussion?
No discussion on a.
Ordinance 2023-002, amending divisions 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8 of the Sherwood Zoning and Community Development Code and repealing ordinance 2022-006, establishing time, place, and manner restrictions on psilocybin service centers and the manufacturing of psilocybin products. Counselor Stankey, how do you vote?
Aye.
Counselor Giles?
Aye.
Counselor Scott?
Aye.
Counselor Young?
Aye.
Counselor Browse?
Aye.
Council President Mays?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Erica and council. Good to have all those things done. City manager report. Keith Campbell is absent today. Kristen is here to answer all questions or
Let's give her some tough ones.
or ask any member of this great leadership team to answer instead. Point to whoever. So questions for Kristen?
I have a question. Is there any update on the construction project across the street?
You read my mind. I
Oh,
was just
good.
going to say,
Safety
I think you can probably see there's dirt moving now. They're in the process of digging some rather large holes, if you will, to recess the columns into. I think they said they had to go down 13 feet. And we received the poles today and the canopy cover. They were driven out from Florida and just arrived this afternoon and were unloaded and are over at Public Works. So things are moving forward. So everything on track there. And then I also wanted to mention that.
Wait, they said they were going to arrive when you open.
I know, they ran into weather.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay.
They did say that. But I had a message at 7:30 this morning. The other thing that I wanted to mention really quick is you will start to see movement and construction over at Veterans Park. We're finally able to get going with that project. As you all know, it was a challenge to get a contractor on board, but they're scheduled to start tomorrow, actually. So,
Awesome.
I saw the no parking signs on that side. Yep.
Awesome.
How long is that supposed to take?
we need to be done by June 30th, so it should just take a few months.
At Veterans?
Yes, both. Actually, for Robin Hood Plaza, it's June 1st.
Awesome. Other questions for Kristen? Other things you want to announce? So, throughout the praise, we had a little bit of a couple of weather events, and great job. Our police team, police department, all the professionals are coping through the weather, addressing the changing needs that our community has when we have a storm, and managing to get to work, which is not always easy, and then to get around our town. So appreciate all the hard work by our police professionals. And then praise to Public Works for an event that was a much bigger event than we also expected. I was literally on the phone with my niece that night around 8 or 9 o'clock, and she goes, "Are you getting any snow?" Look, I goes, "In Portland, it's bad." I'm going, "Huh?" I was oblivious because I normally don't watch the news, and I'm not on social media, so I was oblivious to everything that's going on. And then with Public Works, did a great job of working incredibly long hours to have our streets in great shape the next day and the future days. So a lot of praise all the way around to all of our staff in all departments, but very noticeable when we have weather events.
In fact, I would even just add to that, I've had two neighbors while walking my dogs who have never talked to me, but happened to know that I was on city council, both mentioned how good the roads were, and what a surprise. You know, they say, "Oh, we drive other cities and we were sliding off the roads, but we got to Sherwood and we just knew we're in good taken care of." So I don't know if one of those cities was Wilsonville. I don't want to disparage any of the Wilsonville Scouts, but I think that it was one of those things where they noticed it and it was like, wow, they're actually. They stopped me for a positive comment. So anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Craig's online, so he's here.
Oh yeah, good job, Craig.
Oh, there, yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Good. Yeah. So moving on to council announcements. Who'd like to make an announcement? Dan?
Start
Yeah,
again.
My only comment was just thanking the Public Works as well for the weather-related stuff, working around the clock to keep our roads open. That was great.
Thanks, Dan. Doug?
Yeah. First of all, credit to staff and the developer and the planning commission for, I think, all the work that's gone into getting the Mosier Pass PUD to approval. And I think everyone did a good job of meeting in the middle and finding common ground. So I think it's a good result, which is, I think, what we always want. It's a good result for the community. And so all that work that were there. And also, I'm disappointed, Erica and the rest of the staff, that you didn't find something in chapter 5 or 6 to add to that, so we could have covered every chapter,
So
or
I
4 or
would've got
5.
the
I'm sorry,
numbers
whatever
right.
ones you were missing. That made Kim's life harder, but also just a ton of credit to all the effort that staff put in and the various boards and commissions put into. There's a lot of changes in there that, obviously we just read off the headline, but the reality is there's a ton of code that was combed over and found and updated, cleanup effort. So I know a lot of work went into that. So I want to make sure that everyone gets that acknowledgement. And I know we saw a presentation from Ryan earlier that we're probably gonna have some more code cleanup coming our way in the near future of, probably a lot of different code, and there's a lot of work that's gonna go on in staff, and then we're gonna come here and talk about it for 5 minutes and pass it and say, that was easy. But it's not. There's a lot of work behind it, but it's really important. So thank you to all for that. Parks Board last night, I think the two main things we talked about there, they were talking a little bit about their kind of 2023, hit list of priorities, if you will. And I think there was some good discussion on Parks Board about, like, they saw the work that was going on in the Mosier PUD around the park, and they were kind of wondering, like, why weren't they involved in that process? And so some of it was, I think, educational understanding of how the
Application.
a land use thank you, and a land use application process works, and how it doesn't work, and how the parks board kind of input into that happens years and years and years ahead of the actual development plan. And we talked a little bit about that, kind of segued into the conversation around how they can have more input into potentially future parks, and particularly in Sherwood West and things. And so we talked a little bit about how that might work. There was a good discussion as well around what input or visibility they could have into the kind of the CIP plan for parks and rec, and And then, of course, the YMCA conversation was the other big thing there. So I was glad I was there. I was able to hopefully answer a lot of questions from the Parks Board. You know, they understandably felt a little blindsided. They're Parks and Rec, but they didn't know about this. Of course, no one knew about this because it's been happening in executive session, and now that it's out in the public, you know, they had a lot of questions around it. No real, you know, angst or concerns or anything, but they were just interested in understanding the background and you know, had a lot of similar questions to what we've seen in the community at the open house that myself and 3 other counselors here attended last Thursday at the YMCA. Do another open house this Thursday here at 6 o'clock in this room to kind of get community feedback and input and answer questions about the potential sale of the recreation facility to the YMCA. So definitely show up there. I'll be here again. I'm sure some other counselors will be here as well, and staff will be here to answer questions. But I thought it was a really good conversation with the Parks Board, and they're asking all the right questions, and it was really educational. So that's all I have to report.
Renee?
I too want to thank the staff team for a great job during the snow event, snow and ice. I, like you, didn't know it was coming, so woke up Thursday morning to, oh, I have to cancel an event. But we got it rescheduled, so that's good. Since the last meeting, I was sick the last meeting, but I'm a new grandmother again, so my second grandbaby and a grandson, so 2 now, 3-year-old, and then the baby, so that's exciting. City-wise, we do have an event coming up with the Sherwood Police Foundation. It's a gala that supports our police department. It allows us as a foundation, to raise funds that offset some of the costs and needs of the department. That is April 28th. Tickets are on sale now. You can go to the Sherwood Police Foundation.org to purchase them. And there's another big event coming to town. It's going to bring probably 300 to 400 Rotarians throughout the state of Oregon to the town. So we're putting together some activities for them to do after the event and spend some money here in the community as well. And that's April 22nd. So if you see a bunch of Rotarians walking around the community,
Don't be alarmed.
Don't be alarmed.
Scared.
No, don't run. No, it's a great opportunity to showcase Sherwood High School, and everything that we're doing in this community. I think that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations, Renee. Thanks. Kim?
Let's see, since our last meeting, tomorrow night there's a school board meeting. I'm the liaison to the Sherwood School District. They are kicking, not the school, but the committee, the Yes for Sherwood Schools is kicking off their campaign to get support for the levy that's going to be on the May ballot. There's 3 board positions coming up on the May ballot, 2 4-year terms and 1 2-year term. So if you're interested in running, the deadline to file for that is March 16th. I think currently there's 1 person running for 1 spot and 2 people running for the other 2 spots. So there will be an election. And then something exciting, you know, we have the kid governor of Sherwood. Also, the youth governor was chosen from Sherwood. Sherwood is just on the map in Salem, let me tell you. Elementary and high school. So the high school just had their youth and government thing down in Salem, and 5 of our students were on the board down there, and then our youth governor was.
Best ideas win.
I think that, I don't know how the voting works, but anyways, sophomore Kylie Johnson will be our youth governor for the next year, and so that's exciting
And
to
that
have.
starts in the fall, right?
That I don't know for sure, so that's exciting.
Yeah, that's
Just
super
Sherwood's being represented by our kid governor, youth governor. Renee already talked about the Sherwood Police Foundation auction. I'm just going to reiterate that Thursday night, YMCA Town Hall here in this room. We would love public input on that possible sale of the recreational facility to the YMCA. We had a pretty good turnout at last Thursday at the Y. Lots of great questions that people asked, but we are having yet another town hall Thursday, 6 p.m. in this room. Come ask us questions. We can try to answer anything you guys want to know. Since my last meeting, also I had the opportunity to help at the Sherwood Foundation for the Arts Puzzle Tournament. If you do not know the excitement of the puzzle tournament, you are missing out. These people come in and you have a individual group, and then they do doubles, and then they do teams of 4, and they can get a puzzle out in like 24 minutes. I mean, it's crazy. And then also Mayor Rosner and I met with Commissioner Treese from Washington County a week or 2 ago, and we just sort of talked through the budget crisis that the county's going through and how to hope the county and the cities will partner together to try to solve the problem and make sure that everybody's talking to each other, and talked about our library concerns. We're, you know, hoping funding's not going to be cut from there and whatnot. So that's all I have.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to use my announcement today to talk to the scouts in the back, because I was a Eagle Scout and I sat through these same meetings. I had to do citizen in the community and in the nation and in the world. Hopefully you still have to do all those. But one of the things that you saw here tonight was the birthplace of a new housing development. So we've got the developer here. So they got it passed. It'll be 30-something houses that'll be going in there, a new park. All of that stuff with that first part. This is, again, it's the third time we as a council have seen it, but it was months in the making, if not years. And so you're just, unfortunately, just seeing us cross the finish line on that. But the other thing with the rules and the government staff members that do this for full time, one of the things that has impressed me, and the reason I got into this position and ran for office was, and I can't remember if it's the oath, I think it's the oath, where they say to help other people at all times. That's part of it. And the people that work at the city staff that go through these books of laws, you can see how big our packet is today. You can see all of that stuff. We've got our lawyer here who is looking up the laws, making sure we're doing everything in the right order. They all get paychecks, but they're also doing it to help other people, right? There's a strong sense of community in that. And so I'm doing a shout out now for, this is a career opportunity, right? You can go to college, you can learn about these kind of skills as to how to help develop a city and how to, right now we're looking for planning commissioners. You've never heard the term planning commissioners. Think of it like playing Sim City, or City Skylines, but for real. Right? You're saying, here's where the schools go, here's where the malls go, and you figure it out, right? I mean, I know it's more than that, but I'm trying to appeal to the youth here.
That's simple.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? So we are recruiting for that. So I just wanted to thank the city staff, and then also just let you guys know that even though a lot of it probably went by very fast, a lot of important work is done here, but you unfortunately sometimes only get to see the very end. And in fact, you also saw an update on the new plaza. When you come back here for the Robin Hood Festival, which you've probably heard of, you'll see it across the street there, and there will be a new area for the whole city to enjoy. That's all I have. My meetings are all coming up, so I did a speed run of them last time when we were getting at a very late meeting, and so I don't have any reports for right now.
Awesome. Great. Great to see the scouts here again today, and thanks for that kind of an overview of what just kind of happened today. What do I want to bring up? Interesting. Had my first WRWC board meeting last